This episode of History Saver is brought to you by Addressing Gettysburg. Addressing Gettysburg is a podcast that shares great experiences, quality programs, awesome guests, and is a welcoming community for all who love Gettysburg. So join in with host Matt Callery and find out why Addressing Gettysburg is one of the top-rated podcasts online today. You can find them on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Castbox, Podbean, Google Podcasts, TuneIn, and on Instagram, Facebook, and of course, right here on YouTube. So check out Addressing Gettysburg today, where history is not boring. Thank you to Addressing Gettysburg for sponsoring this video.
You're listening to Addressing Gettysburg.
So we've been going around Savannah for probably the last 3-4 days now and filming this series. And one of the things I have to do every day to get me going is I have to go find me a big cup of iced coffee. That is the fuel that drives me for the rest of the day. So that's what we're about to go do now. And there's plenty of places here you can go do that. Also, if you see me in different shirts throughout some of these episodes, well, that is because it's been a long few days here in Savannah. And we couldn't get everything in one day. So that's the reason why there's a change of wardrobe here. So keep that in mind. So let's go get some coffee. And then, well, you'll see me in a minute. I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so we have moved to a place called Madison Square as we're talking about Sergeant William Jasper and his stand with the Continentals during the attack on the Spring Hill Redoubts. So this is William Jasper behind me, and let's take a look at his statue and talk about this guy just a little bit, one of the more famous figures during the battle. So this statue of Sergeant William Jasper stands here in Madison Square in Savannah, and it's a very cool monument. And it is him who was mortally wounded, and he rescued the colors of his regiment during an assault on the British lines during the fight on October the 9th, 1779. A century has not dimmed the glory of the Irish-American soldier whose last tribute to the civil liberty was his notable life. And this is commemorating his actions because he, at Spring Hill Redoubt, was able to grab the flag, and he was killed in doing that. So you could see a statue of him there holding the flag, and a depiction of the French and Continental forces here kind of depicting him as he's wounded, and you can see the flag laying up under him. So pretty cool. And there was woods in front of the Spring Hill Redoubt too. I don't know if I mentioned that. There was woods, abattis in front of it, so it was a wooded area at the time and a little bit of an open field. But you can see all around the statue nice sculptures depicting different things that is happening during the siege of Savannah. This one shows a guy tied to a tree, another guy tied up at his feet, man bidding his wife and children farewell, the fighting, their vicious fighting, and then I'm guessing that's supposed to be William Jasper there. And then on this side, you've got, of course, a depiction of Jasper standing on top of the parapet there with the flag. So very cool statue here in Madison Square commemorating this guy and his actions. So also in this spot, it says here in 1735 was the beginning of the road to Darien, now called the Ogeechee Road. I hope I said that right. Probably the first road laid out in Georgia with assistance of Tamachichi. So nice cannon here commemorating that, and I'm not sure when this 12-pound cannon, what date it's from, but it is original. It was like 1862 on a barrel. And another cannon adjacent to the one we were just at commemorates northwest of this spot on Liberty and West Broad Streets began the Augusta Road, one of the oldest in Georgia. So these are roads that was around at the time, and I always love doing this. This cannon looks like 1863, and another 12-pound cannon here. But I always love looking at the barrels. That's where you can tell how old a cannon is if you look at the barrel. Alright, so that's a little bit about William Jasper here at Madison Square. Probably one of my favorite squares here in Georgia because it's pretty, and as you can see, there's not as many homeless people. But there's also plaques here commemorating General William T. Sherman and his gift of Savannah to Abraham Lincoln. So that is all right here with those historical markers in this position too. But in this video and episode, we're focusing on the American Revolution. All right, so we're going to keep going, and we'll see you guys from wherever we're going next. Behind me is the memorial to Casmir Palaski. Pulaski Fortification here in right outside of Savannah, between here and Tybee Island. That's who this fortification is named after. Well, Pulaski is also known as the father of the modern American cavalry and all the American cavalry that has come since then. Casmir Pulaski was wounded during the battle here about 1.5 miles of where we're standing right now, and he was wounded by a grape shot to the leg. That grape shot was taken out by a doctor here in Savannah, but Pulaski unfortunately met his demise because of that wound. That grape shot cannonball that he took to his leg that was surgically removed is now still on display with the Georgia Historical Society. So you can come here today and see this awesome monument to Pulaski, but a lot of people don't realize what's also here up under this monument is the body of Casmir Pulaski itself. In 1854, it was what speculated that he died aboard a ship at one point. That wasn't true. And then they said he died at a place called, I think it's Greenwich Plantation, just here outside of Savannah. That, however, was true. His grave there, that was supposedly his grave, was dug up. They found the remains in 1854, found the remains to be of Pulaski, and they reinterred him right here up under this memorial in 1854 in a metal sarcophagus. So up under this monument is the final resting place of Casmir Pulaski, the father of the American cavalry. So at the top you have a very, I think that may be an angel. I'm not 100% sure. It's way up there. And then all the way down at the bottom here, you have the name Pulaski, the eagle and shield, and then Pulaski's depiction on the horse. You can see he's holding his leg. That's where he was wounded by the grape shot. So this is a depiction of him being wounded, and it says October the 9th, 1779, the date of his mortal wound here during the Battle of Savannah. And it's surrounded by cannons, and one of the cool parts is the fence surrounding this site is also cannons with, well, what looks to be kind of the modern representation of ordnance. So I just thought that was pretty cool. So Pulaski is actually buried here, and he's buried up under the monument in a metal sarcophagus. He was put there in 1854. So if you come here today, and a lot of people don't realize it because it's not really marked outside of a historical marker, but the body of Palaski is actually right up under this statue. So the basically godfather of the modern and since American cavalry is right here. This is the man attributed with the creation of the cavalry. So a really cool remembrance of Pulaski here. Now a lot of people probably want to call this Pulaski Square. It's not. This is Monterey Square. So if you're looking for this monument for yourself here in Savannah, it's at Monterey Square, which you can see right down here. And then behind me is the statue to Pulaski itself. All right, so we're gonna continue on. We'll see you at the next place. So right in the heart of the big tourist area of Savannah is this monument, and generally is passed by. This is the Haitian Memorial to the Haitian soldiers who fought here during the Battle of Savannah in 1779. And this is perhaps the largest unit of soldiers of African descent who fought during the American Revolution. They were known as the Les Chasseurs Volontaires de Saint-Domingue, and they were from Haiti. This regiment consisted of freedmen who had volunteered for a campaign to capture Savannah from the British in 1779. And their monument says their sacrifice reminds us that men of African descent were also present on many other battlefields during the American Revolution, which is a fact that is often forgotten about. And if you'll notice, there's a young kid there with a drum. That represents young Henry Christophe, who participated in the October 9, 1779 battle as a drummer boy. He became a leader later in life for the struggle of Haitian independence from French colonial rule. The French, of course, are fighting with the American colonists here in Savannah. And that ended in 1804. A commander of the Haitian army, he became King of Haiti, being among the first heads of state of African descent in the Western Hemisphere. So he went on to become a very crucial part of the history of the Haitian people and African American people, especially in this area because this is where he fought. In the fourth year of the American Revolution, it had become an international conflict. American colonies and their French allies attempted to capture Savannah from the British in 1779, and Haitian soldiers were part of those allied forces. Now, following the Battle of Savannah, many of these Haitians were diverted to other military duties, and they returned to their homes years later, if they returned at all. Several veterans of the campaign became leaders in the movement that made Haiti the second nation in the Western Hemisphere to throw off the yoke of the European colonism control. So this monument right behind me demonstrates a lot. It demonstrates a lot of the lost history of the American Revolution, and it demonstrates a lot more than that as well. So pretty cool to see this Haitian monument here of the Haitian troops in Savannah. So if you're ever here, come by and pay homage to these guys. It's a pretty neat monument to see. So we're here in downtown Savannah, and we're in a very awesome square right here in the middle of downtown. And everywhere you go, man, there's people out here with blowers. And here in the middle is a monument to a guy by the name of Nathaniel Green. He was an American colonial general, and he was also a planter. But he is also known during the war as the fighting Quaker and the savior of the South. And this is a monument to him here in the middle of a square, which is fitting. Let's talk about Nathaniel Green just a little. So this guy is one of my favorite generals to study during the American Revolution. He used guerrilla warfare tactics to help defeat the British Army. He also used things like riverboats. Well, he fought in the earlier battles of the American Revolution, the more famous battles you hear about that took place in the North. Places like Guilford Courthouse and around Boston and around Philadelphia. But you often don't hear about his Southern campaign, which really he was most famous for. Nathaniel Green used guerrilla warfare tactics, and he knew how to use the militia to his advantage. Horatio Gates really was considered a fool among the generals during the American Revolution. Gates famously took to his horse and rode 60 miles nonstop because his militia was defeated in a certain battle. And he was given a bad reputation by men such as Benjamin Franklin. Well, they called him Nathaniel Green. Benjamin Lincoln served with people, Nathaniel Green served up under Benjamin Lincoln. He served with people like Harry Light Horse Lee, Robert E. Lee's father, and other really famous generals during the American Revolution. But he was perhaps one of the most famous himself. So here in Johnson Square in Savannah, they have this monument and memorial to Nathaniel Green. And there's a depiction of Nathaniel Green right at the front of the monument. And on the back, as you walk around, this is a plaque on the other side, or reverse, to Major General Nathaniel Green, born in Rhode Island, 1742, died in Georgia in 1788, soldier, patriot, friend of Washington, and the shaft has been reared by the people of Savannah in honor of his great service to the American Revolution. And there's nothing on the top, but it's a very tall monument and a perch for birds now, apparently. But yeah, pretty cool. So the other reason why this monument is so tall and stands at 50 foot is because this isn't only a memorial to Nathaniel Green, but it's also his grave. He is actually buried up underneath this monument, and this is his final resting spot here in Savannah. So if you want to visit the grave of Major General Nathaniel Green, if you've ever wondered where it is, it's right here. He is buried up under this monument. And this is not only an awesome square here in Savannah today, but it's also the final resting place of Major General Nathaniel Green. So there's a little fact that a lot of people don't know, is that this is his grave. So just opposite Nathaniel Green's monument, which is right there, we have a plaque here that I didn't even know was here. This is concerning Washington's Southern Tour. If you haven't seen it already, you'll see a couple of artillery pieces that are really important to the city of Savannah concerning Washington. And during his Southern Tour in 1791, which he took a Southern Tour, Charleston and here, President George Washington attended services at the original Christ Church on Sunday, May the 15th, which is right there. Washington lodged at a house on the corner of Barnyard and State Streets on St. James, which is now Telfair Square. And he dined at the Brown's Coffee House with the Society of Cincinnati, toured the ruins of the Revolutionary Earthworks with General Lachlan McIntosh, and was entertained at the Silk Filter on Randall Square and attended a large public dinner there. After Sunday services here at the church, Washington dined with Catherine Green, the widow of Nathaniel Green, his friend, at Mulberry Grove Plantation, north of the city, before departing for Augusta. So you have to know that when he attended services at that church, he had to come over here and pay his respects to his friend. So maybe we're perhaps standing in the same exact spot that George Washington once stood. Pretty stinking cool. Even the pigeons here are thinking American Revolutionary War history is cool. Hey, buddy, you want to give me an interview? No, he's going to go visit Nathaniel Green. All right, so we're going to get out of here. We are going to head to our next location in this series, and it's going to for sure be a good one. So stick around and join me on the next episode. Until then, keep preserving history, stay safe, and let's keep learning history together. Because when you find things like this, little hidden gems and unknown facts, that's what gets people interested. We'll see you on the next one.